let's continue to set the stage correctly for this piece. And when you're ready, I'm going to read a poem. So first, I want you to get comfy, and if you can, close your eyes and really just sink into that place where you can feel this in your bones. And then we're going to go deeper. Don't be surprised that if within this recital you experience spontaneous tears or emotional releases. This is natural. These words are not just a poem, they have been energized. They are a sonic key and they are an unlocking sequence. After you have absorbed these words, by the end of this video, I also will leave you with extra energetic seeds disguised as reflection questions. And this is my real gift to you. If you use these genuinely as they are intended, it's going to unlock something within you that you possibly didn't realize you had access to. This is exciting stuff. So let's bust some more myths about something that is normally stigmatized and frowned upon, especially by those in the spiritual community. Before I begin this poem, I want you to hold one thing in your awareness and be gentle with yourself. Feel free to pause this video and write it down. Just leave this in the back of your mind. What if the only way out isn't up but in? This piece was born of dissent, but not the kind that you choose with clarity, the kind that chooses you. It was born from the ache of survival, by the silent scream that doesn't stop even when the pain has passed, and by the moment your name no longer fits the shape your life demands. Before you hear these words, I invite you once more to ask yourself, where have you been pulled beneath your own surface? What fragments have you buried, silenced, or burned up for the sake of keeping the peace? What if you met the part of you that waits in the deep? Would you recognize their rage as sacred? Would you remember what you came for? This is not a poem about healing. It is a poem about remembering. It is about the kind of power that is not earned but reclaimed, thread by thread and wound by wound, and with the help of the unseen. This is my story, but as a spiral, as a mirror, and as very much one shared by many. This is the spinner's hook. The surface could not hold me. The current did not sink me. The rage tide failed to break me. I spiraled into death voluntarily. I did not enter with a rod, nor patience, peace, or perfect poses. I did not come with bait. I came bleeding. A line spun from a scream that I had buried in my own abyss. I came torn, threadbare from lifetimes and brutal chapters that nearly took me out in a way a soul can die long before the body. My blood still bore the scent of the old ones who whispered in the ether with thunder. Something primal spun from the roar in my chest. Not burly, but memory. Not hope, but fury disguised as prayer. I cast myself into the dark without permission, without name, and the dark answered, not with echo, but with eyes, glowing eyes. The remnants of fire etched into my palms still, where the old gods touched me in silence, my permanent reminder of what was once whispered. There is more, so much more. The water did not ask why. It pulled ferociously, like it knew exactly what had fractured and where I'd left the pieces. It was a grave and a womb, a place where names go to rot so something real can rise. And I went under. I let myself fall, unclenching and unspinning the lies I stitched into my own skin like grief does when silence is all that you trust. Down there, I found her, adorned in everything I tried to hide, the one I'd buried, the one who held rage like a guarded relic, not like those of worldly treasures, the kind displayed in glass, but the one sealed in lead, volatile, sacred, and taken for granted until it detonates. She did not flinch. She opened her mouth, and the old language poured out, the kind that cracks mirrors and breaks bones. Something stirred then, not within me, but around me. The dark had not been empty. It had witnesses, old ones, ancient as root and ruin, watching from the edges of the void, waiting for my signal to begin the rite. I listened, I wept, I bled copper into the spiral as the elementals came. Wind to stir the story, flame to cauterize the severed self, stone to give me spine again, and sea to baptize me, not as saint, but as sovereign. She looked at me as if I had kept her waiting, and I had. She met me with a statement that also posed as a question. How could you pretend I did not exist? But in the deep, she wasn't angry anymore. She was ready and ravenous. And when the spirits came, I watched them stitch me backwards and inwards until I was no longer trying to escape the dark, but remembering I was made of it. They reeled her in, slowly, spinning something sacred, birthing that which cannot be undone. Thread tightens truth. Knot by knot I remembered. Each turn of tension a remembering. Each new beginning starting with a wound made honest. I spun her shadow into shape, wove our madness into a map, and let her scream thread into anthem. And when we rose, I was not the same. I bought no trophy, no applause, only breath, only fire, and the memory of what it cost to come home to my name. They say you fish to feed, but I went to remember, and I came back whole, not because I was spared, but because I did not break. I pulled myself from my own abyss, and the catch wasn't prey. It was power, and the beginning wasn't a sunrise, but a descent lit from within. I did not leave the dark behind. I carry it, tender, watchful, and woven into my name. The thread is still spinning. I was not designed to fear where it leads, because I am the echo. The descent was not an end, but a beginning built in shadow. It became a doorway. When I walked out, I was forged and fanged. Crowned in ash, I rose, not cleansed, but complete. The darkness is my witness that lights my path, because I am the fire that darkness often drowns. What you just heard was a descent, a remembering, and a reclamation of the self that lives below the surface, the one who holds rage like a power item, not a flaw. This is where our work begins. Sacred rage is not the fire that burns your life down. It is the fire that lights your path back to your name. Most people are taught to fear their anger, to suppress it, to detach from it, to pretend it is not there. But suppression is not spirituality. It is bypassing and an automatic subscription renewal to repeat the lessons you thought you were escaping from. Detachment is not mastery. Avoidance is not peace. Rage rises because something needs your attention. It is the body's most honest language. And when you learn to listen to it consciously, compassionately, and without shame, it becomes one of the most powerful forces you will ever work with, which, if you are an occultist like me, and not just a love and lighter, you are going to want to tune into it. Never waste a power source.